Welcome back, guys. Another episode of 317 Wellness Podcast. We have been gone for a while, but we are now back.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
It is. It's kind of missed it a little bit. Been busy with the kids and stuff around the house and work, but it's nice to be back.
So if you're new, welcome. My name is Tim.
And I'm Jody.
In today's episode, we're going to share with you guys what we've been up to, just a life update.
Yeah.
And what we've been doing. So
kind of fitness, health update.
Fitness,
what's
health,
changed.
family, everything.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. All right, Jody, let's talk about what you've been up to lately.
Yeah.
With your fitness. Yeah. Let's talk about fitness.
Yeah. So I think so 2 months ago, I decided to start taking creatine because I've been doing some research, listening to a lot of people talk about the benefits of women taking creatine, especially once they hit the age of 40. And that gap is closing. I'm going to be 40 here next year. So I want to kind of prepare my body for what's coming. And so I was like, okay, I checked with my doctor first because I'm on a medication and I wanted to make sure that wasn't going to have any kind of side effects. And so I started taking creatine 2 months ago and I am loving it. I'm absolutely loving it.
Before we jump into that, what were your thoughts on creatine before?
I thought it was just like a bodybuilding supplement.
Right.
Like, honestly, I thought like dudes take this, like people that are like hardcore in the gym. And I am started with yoga, I do Pilates. Like, it's just more of like, I'm not a hardcore, like in the gym, I want as much muscle as possible. So you had creatine like sitting around and I was always kind of like putting it back on the shelf. Like, well, I don't know what he's doing with this. And, so I never really thought of it as a supplement for me. Just like we kind of think of women don't want to lift weights because they don't want to get big.
Right,
it was in my mind that I shouldn't take creatine because I don't want to be huge or it's just not part of my goal. And so after listening to these functional health doctors and these other women that have gone through things, just talking about how beneficial it is for maintaining muscle mass as we get older as women, I was just like, oh, there's really no downside to taking creatine. And in fact, I was having DOMS really bad after my workouts. When when I really am in a workout, I do like to lift pretty heavy, or I like to test myself. And so 2 days later, it's the getting up and down off the toilet to go to the bathroom, and you're just like, it hurts. Everything would hurt and ache. And so I thought, well, maybe creatine is going to help me so I'm not so sore. And that's exactly what it's done. I don't really feel my workouts. I'm a little fatigued, like maybe the day after. But I'm also, the big benefit is that I can lift heavier. And that you told me that you were like, once this is like in your muscles, you're going to be able to lift heavier. And I didn't really believe it. I'm like, me, we'll see.
Right.
And now I'm lifting 15, 20 pounds heavier on upper body stuff, a lower body. I'm kind of feel a little nuts sometimes on like the hack squat or the that machine. I'm like at 220 for 3 sets and I'm like, holy crap, like my muscular endurance and the strength that I have right now is ridiculous. So with the help of my friend Creatine, which is right here right now, I've been able to feel better in my recovery process, lift heavier, and it also, I feel an energy boost after I drink it. That it like creates more ATP. So overall, I'm very pleased. And I went to my doctor after taking this for 2 months, and my kidney function is actually better. My creatine my creatinine, I think that's what they call it, level is better. Like overall, just much better health than I was a year ago. So awesome. So fitness wise, it's great. And that's kind of pushed me into this, like, I want to build as much muscle as possible. And then later in the year when the kids go to school, then I think I'm going to focus on cutting and just before I'm 40 and to see how, I don't know, how my physique can be as I get into that new decade.
And I've been taking creatine. Actually, I started taking creatine when I was like 15 or 16 years old. I was very young. I was just getting into weights, working out, and I definitely noticed the strength, and that's what creatine is for, is to build strength and build muscle, mostly just strength. And a lot of athletes take creatine, and that's what I've noticed when I was doing it. I don't take it right now just because I want to get as lean as I can, and then when I start bulking, I would like to start bulking here soon because I'm not gonna grow personally like much bigger unless I start bulking.
Yeah.
So, I have to get down to a low weight, which I don't like being at low weight because I'm 5'1", weighing 127 pounds, but still lifting pretty heavy for my size. I lift just as much as a grown man that's 6 foot, right? So I still want to look a lot bigger because when I am 127 pounds, which is no weight.
I might weigh more than that now.
I hate it, so I have to start getting bigger.
Right.
And I don't like to get that big either because when you're bulking, you have to eat so much more food. You have to just feel like gross, I guess. So it sucks getting leaner and it sucks bulking. So
do you think you could build muscle without feeling like you said that grossness of bulking, like a more of like a in the middle type of thing?
I think you can. It's just normally when you go in the bulk, you don't have that strict regimen as you would when you're trying to cut weight.
Gotcha.
Because you have to have routine, you have to have good habits, you have to track everything. So you're on a routine more. So when you're bulking, it's the same routine, but you have more freedom.
Yeah.
You can eat more food, but then you kind of start losing that discipline. And for me, I'll start like wanting fast food restaurants or just eating more
like ultra processed stuff.
But just going like out to eat and just getting whatever I wanted. So that's not what
right.
That's not how you should do a bulk. You should do a bulk just staying consistent, just add more calories to what you're eating.
Yeah.
Eating clean as well.
What is your calorie? Like, what are you eating right now?
Right now, I'm at 1,600 calories.
Okay. That's pretty low for the amount of activity you do.
But honestly, I would be at 1,300 if I was cutting more.
Okay, yeah.
Because right now, I'm kind of steady. I'm maintaining right now at 1,600, not gaining too much weight and not looking too shredded, but just where I'm at, maintaining. The goal is as well just to bulk up. But then we have our vacation coming up. Our couple's vacation at the end of the year.
Or beginning of winter. Yeah, next year.
Beginning of winter. So we may want to start cutting like before winter.
Christmas. Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Unless you want to
January. We could do January because I think we're going to go probably February.
Right.
Yeah.
So fitness wise right now, I'm just maintaining. I would like to get a little bit leaner so that I can start taking creatine and then start bulking up a little bit. Yeah. But fitness wise, pretty content with where I'm at.
Yeah. I like to say I'm right now in an unintentional bulk where I'm just kind of like, I'm not watching what I'm eating. I'm not eating terribly. I'm trying to still eat higher protein, but I'm not tracking. I'm tracking protein. That's about it. But
I'm still tracking.
Yeah. You've been tracking since the beginning of the year, haven't you? Yeah.
For me, I have to track because I have to maintain a standard for myself. Yeah. That's what it is. It's standard. If I don't track, I can easily gain that fat. Yeah. Because I'm short and bulky. I put on fat pretty easy. So that's why I have to track. Without tracking, I don't know what I'm doing. So anything else fitness related with you?
I don't know, just overall like health wise, fitness, I guess fitness and health wise. I just found it really interesting. So last year we did a cut, April into May.
Right.
And that, I mean, you can check that out. We have that. We have some info up there on YouTube or on our Instagram channel, accounts. Yeah. And so we did that. And then I had my annual doctor's visit and I had my full panel done because, whatever. And I had some markers that weren't great. They weren't too bad, but some things that weren't bad. And after coming off of a cut, I thought that was very interesting. Like just because I've been focusing on eating healthy, high protein, low carb, a lot of vegetables, all that stuff. And then this year, I don't know. I just found it very interesting that I'm not doing a cut, but I've added in creatine and a hydration supplement that has a lot of immune support in it. And now my levels are much better a year later without having it cut. So I think sometimes, in my mind, I think you just have to really listen to your body with things. And going into a cut, sometimes if you're too restrictive and too depriving, you may actually be hurting your body. Whereas when you're just finding that nice maintenance or that stasis, like then you might be just right where your body needs to function in a healthy way. So that was just a little interesting thing that I was like, oh, well, we can go to extreme in both ways, right? You can not track anything and be unhealthy and eat way too much, or you can track everything and be really focused in, but also be unhealthy because you're depriving yourself of some nutrients and other things your body needs. So
let's go ahead and talk about cold plunging.
Yeah.
You have recently started this up, and I have been doing this for a while now. The cold showers was all last year. Then you bought me a cold plunge this past winter for my birthday. So that has been a game changer for me with my cold plunge. So many benefits to the cold plunge. Like there's things that they're underlying that has helped me with different things in my health. So let's just talk about what it's done for you, or what have you noticed? I guess explain to me how your first experience of cold plunging was.
Yeah. So you got out of the cold plunge. It was a Friday afternoon. I remember it. All of it very well. And I don't know, I came home from work and I just felt irritable. I think there was a lot of dishes, the chaos of the toddler, like all this stuff. And I just felt really, really irritable. And you got out of the cold plunge and I was, had an attitude, and you were like, you should jump in there, kind of in that, like, she's never going to do this because she's always cold type of attitude.
That's true.
And I was like, I'm going to do it. And I just like pulled off my socks and I ran and got my swimsuit on, and I just didn't even hesitate. And I got in and it was like 55 degrees.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, okay, I got this. And I think I did it 3 minutes.
You did it 3 minutes.
I think I did it for 3 minutes.
I was impressed.
So once I got in it, I was just like, okay, I can do this. And then in my mind, I'm like, you've had 2 children naturally. You can sit in cold water for 3 minutes. It's not a big deal. So yeah, I just kind of dig deep down into that, like, I am a woman and I can do this. And yeah, it wasn't bad. And then it was just kind of like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to keep doing this once a week because just that mental like toughness, like I can do this longer. I also was doing it, I haven't for the past couple of weeks, but in the morning, like as the sun is coming up and the birds are chirping and the kids are still asleep, like it's very quiet and meditative. And for me, one of the things that I've seen is that if you really like, everything is slowing down, right? And you got to slow down your breath and you got to slow down your brain and you're focusing on just breathing. My mind becomes so much clearer in that moment. And like, I don't know if it's God, like, I don't know if it's the spirit or there's just like little things. It's just been like the smallest little things. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I should be doing that. Or, oh, I should focus on that. Or, oh, that makes more sense. So it's kind of, in the middle of your body being under so much stress because it is cold, there is a clarity that comes with that in your mind, and I've found that to be one of the most like, I don't know, the best thing so far with it.
I guess for dads, we struggle with our mental health quite a bit just because all the things that we deal with on the daily basis. I mean, you too, you as well, but with dads, we're providers, we're protectors. Right. We got so much on our shoulders that we have to keep ourselves together. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes we break down. I've broken down plenty of times throughout our married career, right? So I've realized when I'm in there, the stress, right? Like you said, the stress and the anxiety. I noticed the anxiety just disappearing as I continue to do it more and more. And I remember, I think I shared this before, or maybe I shared it with you. When I go to church, like my eyes would be darting all over the place because there's just so many people like around me. So I'm very high alert. So I'm just constantly looking around, just on my toes for some reason. And I think that's just natural. But doing it consistently with the cold plunges, I noticed that my anxiety and calmness was very controlled in that kind of environment, that was number one thing that I noticed, that I was able to walk into that environment that was chaotic and be calm under pressure, being able to hold conversations with people because I'm able to be present. Because when you are in the cold plunge, you are present. You have to be present, or else you're gonna be freaking out that you're in the cold,
right?
Because your body's fighting it. Right. It isn't fun, and you're wanting to get out. But if you learn how to control your thoughts, your breath, in that kind of environment, you're going to be so much stronger, at other places in your life. So that's the first thing I noticed. The second thing I noticed was that energy went rocketed from doing that. Like I would do it before I worked out for minutes, massive pumps, just stronger lifts, just felt more full when I worked out. And it's like drinking like 10 cups of coffee. Like you're going all day. You're going all day. I think a lot of people think that these cold plunges are like oh, everyone's doing it. There's a reason why people are doing it now. There's a reason why we're continuing to do this is because it does work. It does so many other things that we can talk about. But like another thing that I realized was that I had so many gut issues during the winter time. I was doing it out in the cold. That's 30 some degree weather that I was doing it in. And I realized like my whole body was just recovering faster. I noticed that my gut was healing within, like, I don't know what it was, but I think the blood flow that was pushing throughout my body, my body was working a lot more to survive. So it was giving more blood flow. So I realized that I wasn't having gut pains anymore. I was able to eat some different kinds of food that I normally don't eat. But as soon as the springtime hit where it got warmer, I stopped doing it consistently because it just was too much work trying to buy bags of ice and all that.
Right.
I started having more gut issues. Or it just kept coming back even more. I've just been facing that lately because I haven't been consistent with that, or it hasn't been cold enough for my body to, I guess, reap the benefits. So that's some of the things that I've experienced with it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I don't know that I've seen any physical things yet, but I haven't done it consistently. But I think too, like things that I have read, men and women's bodies are different.
Right.
Like I think I've heard something that like for men doing cold first, like you do it, and then hot after a workout actually helps with muscle growth and things like that and stimulation. For women, it's like the opposite because our hormones are just different in our bodies. So, but yeah, I do think it's a really nice challenge for yourself. Yeah. Like we talk, you talk a lot about pushing yourself outside the comfort zone. And if you're telling yourself that I can't do this, like there's no way. Like we recently had a friend that was like, oh, no, I'm not going to do this. And it's just like, if you keep telling yourself that, then you're never going to try. But if you tell yourself, I can handle that. You're just pushing yourself to
endure more challenging things.
Right. Be more confident in yourself too. Understand the fullness of your capacity as a human. And I think we diminish that so much, or we're told things as we grow up or whatever has happened to us that we start the limiting beliefs, right? We can't do this, we can't do that, we shouldn't do that, whatever it is. But I think when you start pushing yourself to do these things, then you realize it opens your mind a little bit more to what else can I do now?
And you walk differently. Like I've walked so much differently because I've been doing this, and I've been doing this early in the morning. Yeah. Like these cold showers I was doing first thing in the morning when I wake up at 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. And realizing and knowing that no one's really doing that early, you just walk more confident because you know that you can endure challenging things, you can do hard things and just overcome them. So I've realized like you're walking more confident when you do harder things. Yeah. And it's just an energy that you bring to the room because of the things that you push yourself through. Yeah.
And I think for the first thing in the morning, for me, it's that win. It's like, I've done this. Like I've already pushed myself to do something hard. I already have a win under my belt, and it's, 6:00 in the morning. Like that's one of the things that I like about it too, doing early in the morning.
We just got to figure out how we can continue to do it consistently, because I still want to keep doing it. We thought about bringing it in the house and maybe putting it in the shower, but I don't know if that's gonna fit. Yeah. But I need to figure out another way that I can keep that cold, because right now the summer months are a little bit harder to do. Right. But I want to do it more often. I want to do it like every morning that I wake up, so that I can feel those benefits, because the showers are good, but not as good as the cold plunge. It's a different level.
I've turned the shower sometimes and I'm feeling like, let me just try this. And I don't like it. I'm not going to lie, because it's just hitting you. It's constantly hitting you, and you your pain receptors are just no. But when you're in the cold plunge, like I get in there, I get all the way down in there, and then you just sit and you don't move. Oh, if you move, it's so painful. But if you just sit there and then you're like, okay, 30 seconds. I'm like, I got this. And then at that mark, I'm like out. I jump out of it because I just want to be out of it. But But yeah, I think the cold showers are a lot harder.
So I've heard that 52 to 50 is probably the best. If you're starting, the best way to reap the benefits. That's a good degree to be at. Anything lower than like 30 is not good, or anything lower than 40. Anything lower than 40 is not good.
You would do in the 30s and during winter, and I don't know how you did that,
but from what the research says is that you want to keep around 50. You don't have to go lower than that,
right?
But I like to test myself. So
yeah, I will tell you though from experience, like 55 was the first temperature I was at. I had 3 minutes. 57 was where I was at one time, and I could do like 10 minutes in that. I mean, you're still cold, right?
Right.
You can still get that calming mental effect. But then when we did 52 last week, I was like, I don't. My whole body was starting to like shake in the, I'd be like, and I go. You know, it's like everything's like shaking. And I was like, I'm not quite sure that I enjoy 52. So if you're saying 50, I'm just saying as a health coach, small steps, everyone. So if you want to do this and you think like 52 or 50 is going to be fairly cold for you, start at 55. Get your body kind of used to it, and then you can make it colder as you go. So you don't have to jump straight into like 45 or 40 like this guy does. But
well, if you're going to be doing it more often, I can't do 40 or 30 some degrees.
You can do it in winter when I back out of that and decide to just snuggle up in my robe in the morning instead with my hot coffee.
So. But another thing I realized with these cold plunges is that your body is craving it. Like, I need a cold shower. I need something cold in my body because it just feels so good. And that's what I've noticed with how I am during the days. Like, I need to jump in the cold shower. I feel so much better. Okay. So anyways, moving on to family. Let's talk about family. Okay. What our kids been up to, what we've been up to, what Lydia's been doing.
Oh yeah.
It's been just going fast. I feel like it's already June.
Right. She's been on summer break for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yep.
2.5 weeks. Yep.
I'm just realized how fast this is going, and I don't like it at all. Yeah. I don't, because we're already in June, and she's going into fourth grade.
She'll be 10 in August.
She only has 2 months of summer break.
Yep.
So I'm trying to maximize it as a father, just to make sure I spend time with her, make sure I'm with Eli. It's very hard. Just the busyness of every single week. It's hard. You know, my early mornings at work, having to be there at 5:30, and then doing everything else that I do, still trying to maintain my health. It's just going too fast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, and I can't believe it already has been 2.5 weeks of summer. And we have one more week, then we're going on family vacation, and then June's going to be over a week after that. Like, it's just, as we look at it by week, it just goes by so much faster. Or you look at the whole entire month, and then it's just like, bam, it's done. And, you know, it's going to be the end of summer before we know it, and she's going to be back in school, and he's going to go to preschool. So not only do we have a fourth grader, but now we have a preschooler, and they're both going to be gone, and that just changes the dynamic a lot for me, because I've been home with him. I mean, he goes with me to work, but it's been 3 years of taking him to work with me and then having him in the afternoon. And so now, you know, it's like I will be, you know, I want to work more. I do love to work. And so figuring out exactly what that looks like is, so just everything's moving fast.
The season's changing for us. Yeah. That's why I feel like I'm very excited to unwind this vacation, because we get to go out in nature again. Right. I think that's what we gravitate towards, because we love nature. We love in just being together as a family.
Playing outside together. Yeah. So
we're going to be going to Michigan, near Silver Beach, like we've been going before. We're going to be going there longer, which is going to be nice. Yeah. Going to have campfire, canoeing,
paddleboarding, kayaking,
fishing,
all the things. Yeah.
I think that's what our true human nature craves. Yeah. At least that's what I feel like I crave.
Yeah, being outside and not having necessarily an agenda, which is going to be
technology as well.
It's going to be nice. Just not having like an agenda for the day, or like looking at my calendar. My calendar's cleared out for the week, which is really nice. So not having to worry about things.
And then what's Lydia been up to this summer? I know you've been helping her with.
I've been giving her different projects to do, and one is to conquer sourdough and to make a sourdough starter. So I'm not quite sure how that's going. We're going to have to look at it a little bit more. But yeah, she's been wanting to bake and cook a lot more. And so I'm just trying to foster that a little bit. So
I'm very proud of her because she's cooked some awesome snacks.
yeah, she made really good muffins, mini
she did.
chocolate chip banana muffins the other week. So, and she did that all by herself. I didn't help at all. So that was really good. So she's been doing that, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, try to give her stuff to keep her occupied that's educational during the summer. And we go to the library a lot, and so she's reading and all of that. But yeah, and then just trying to keep Eli moving forward. In his not terrible threes, but I don't know what it is. It's something.
And he's right now, he knows how to use the restroom or the bathroom,
right.
but he just doesn't do number 2 yet.
Right.
He refuses it.
We've tried everything. So if you have any tips, please leave us a comment on we've bribed him. I mean, I've bribed him with candy, and that is not something that I do. Like, I really try not to bribe my kids with food because I don't want that to be a thing. But this time I've been like, if you poop on that potty, you will get a gummy. And he's like, nah, I'm good. So, and then a Bluey cup.
I even told him that I would go with him.
Right.
He can bring his little
maybe
potty
like a
with
challenge
me.
and see who can poop fastest.
Yeah. I mean, I told him I can bring the potty in there with him.
Yeah.
Or with me, and we can just go together.
We're just trying different things,
right.
but it maybe over time, eventually. I mean, he's not going to be like a high schooler that still wears a diaper.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
We're letting him figure it out on his own. But
so
other than that, he's got to figure it out.
Anything else left?
No, I don't think so. That kind of covers fitness and nutrition and all the things. Spiritually, I'm just kind of chugging along. I don't know if there's anything like new spiritually for me. How about you?
I mean, we both have our morning routines. I know that you have time with yourself in the morning before the kids get up. So that's, I think, crucial for parents to have that time. And I wake up early to do that for myself because I need to be spiritually fed so that I could be more like Jesus, more like God, because without him, I would probably be a big jerk. So I need his peace. I need him to constantly be with me every single day. So still doing that routine in the mornings. So
definitely a necessary for me just to have that quiet time to read a devotional and pray through things and just to start the day on that that spiritual on the right foot. Is very important. So,
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully you enjoyed this podcast as well. If you need any help fitness related, make sure to head over to 317wellness.com. That's where we provide different services. You can download our free PDFs that you can use. She's got her protein meals. I have my free workouts on there. We also, if you are in the area, we do personal training as well. So we have different offers for you. So make sure to check that out. But until next time, we will see you in the next video.
All right. Bye.
Peace.